All right, we live. Let's rock out. All right, this your boy Kobe, man. Rise and Rise Academy. This is episode 3. And remember, the theme right now is gonna be nutrition. Nutrition. You know what I'm saying? We got my boy Show, Rise and Rise Academy. You dig what I'm saying? This man over here fresh, man. I feel like I was a little underdressed. You know what I'm saying? You got the tie on. I got the scarf.
Yeah,
I'm all right.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm
You
all
know, I
right.
had to keep the thing.
You stole the show, man. That's why they call you Showtime.
We had to keep the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep it fresh. Got to keep it classy. You know what I mean? So actually, I'm gonna try to do something, and I want to try to help kind of promote some of the things that we got going on. And I'm sure Show. I know you want to promote a couple things too, but I want to go ahead and say, yo, make sure that y'all go support True High Clarity. You dig? Like True High Clarity is a similar brand to what we are. So with Rise and Rise Academy, we know we rise up in the morning, and then we rise up to the occasion, and then we take on the day every single day, every single minute, every single hour. We don't give up, and that's included in the gym. That's included in your life, and that's included in work and business and love and partnership. You got to rise up for everything that you do in your life to be better, right? So with True High Clarity, you dig? You want to live your life true. You want to live it high, and you want to live it with the clarity of vision. You dig what I'm saying? You'll live a much better life. A lot of this too is detailed in the Bible. We don't have to get into too many depths of it, but it is a brand that I associate myself with as well. So they have clothing. It's a clothing line. You can get some dope gear. You can get workout gear. You dig? You got jerseys, shorts. For ladies, it's jumpsuit, track suits, everything. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you check them out. And it's truehighclarity.com. All right. And Show, I know you got, I know you got your apparel. You know what I'm saying? I know you got a couple things you got going on.
Definitely. As y'all know, Showtime, one of the instructors, one of the trainers with the Rise and Rise Academy, and yeah, we got a little something. And you can definitely check us out, ShowtimeTrainingGroup.com. See
Absolutely.
what my wife and I have going on. And if you want to support, by all means, support us. It's a little chilly outside. We got some hoodies. Definitely support both of these brands. And I also personally took a look at some of the stuff with the True High Clarity, and I love it, man. It's sporty. You can check us out, ShowtimeTrainingGroup.com. And always, if you want to support us, it's definitely much appreciated. We love it all.
Absolutely, man. You know what I'm saying? So, again, y'all, we're going to rock it off with, we're going to start off with nutrition. So, again, that is the weekly regimen. That's the weekly theme. And that's what we're focusing on right now is nutrition. So, I know, Show, man, I remember you saying about a story. And I think it'd be a good idea for y'all to, listen in and tune in to, what this brother has to say when it comes to nutrition. I think y'all really kind of get hooked in. I'm sure somebody else is going through this as well, especially when it comes to nutrition, because I hear a lot of people having issues with what to eat, what not to eat, what to drink, what not to drink. You're not really sure. So I'll let you take the floor with it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go ahead and start off with the story.
Okay, bet. So I think initially when I mentioned the story, I think I was gonna go in a different area, but it sounded like you want me to go there, so I'm gonna go there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we go there. Go there. Yeah.
Okay,
No
definitely.
game.
So for me personally, man, I'm not gonna take up too much time. But real quick, so I graduated high school. I went straight into the military. Um, was just kind of experience of life. I was raised eating a certain type of way. Shouts out to my parents. They definitely had us eating a certain type of way. Like we grew up on chicken, turkey, fish. I think it was like a Muslim culture type thing. But I grew up eating a certain type of way. So, like I said, I went to the military right out of high school, and I was just able to experience life for myself, for my own. My parents basically gave me their blessings. They were like, okay, well, this is how we raised you, you know, which I want to come back to. So my parents said, basically, this is how we raised you. I literally remember being told, this is how we raised you, and now we're allowing you to go ahead and experience what you want to experience. So I just remember long story short, I remember eating crazy and just really starting to experience, what I define as American culture. When it comes to fast foods, when it comes to easy access, and when it comes to processed foods, and just stuff you're not necessarily sure what's even in these things, man. Some of the things that we get from these fast food restaurants. But yeah, so I ended up in the military. I was at a squadron basketball game, and my heart ended up stopping. You know, and my heart stopped for 10 minutes. I got a book coming out that I'm writing about that really goes into detail about that whole story. But my heart stopped. And just that whole situation, just for me, it was just a eye-opening situation. And one of the things I love to share with people is it shouldn't have to come to this for us to pay attention just to our nutrition. It was an eye-opener for me, because I'm an athlete. I always played ball. I lived a really healthy lifestyle. At least I thought. Which I did. But a lot
Right.
of the things that I consumed, a lot of the knowledge that I had on nutrition, I really didn't know or understand what I was eating. Some of the choices I was making, as far as nutrition and lifestyle. So long story short, I had a procedure called a cryotherapy. My body was frozen, so I could get to the hospital. So another procedure could be performed to try to save my life. My parents were called. I was pronounced dead. Yeah, like I said, I'm writing the book. Make sure to support that too. When we release those details, but I won't go into detail. But long story shorter, I could drag this out. But yeah, so I ended up just changing a lot of things. As I got older, I really realized I started digging in on some of the things I was eating, some of the ways I was living. And a big factor was, some of the things, definitely what I was eating, my nutrition. I started taking a big look at that, a big look at how many times I was eating fast food. I started taking a look at my energy levels. And the further I dived into health and wellness, the physical fitness aspect of it, I started realizing how much nutrition plays. Part of my story too, I was prescribed with a bunch of medications, man. And my aunt could tell you this to this day. I was young, so at the time, I was having a bunch of issues, but I didn't want to take those medications. And I feel like over time, no doctor ever said I was clear from taking those medications. For me, I just started changing up things. The biggest thing was my eating, the way I ate. At first, I just cut back on some of the red meats, just for me personally. Personally, it wasn't agreeing with my body. It wasn't agreeing with my lifestyle. I know there's a book that kind of breaks down foods that go well with your blood type. I believe, man, it's crazy.
What's that book?
I definitely have to look it up. But
Okay.
if there's a way we can put it in, I definitely will. I know it's on my phone and I'm using that to record. But
for sure. I'm
yeah.
with you.
So yeah, I'm gonna end it with that, man. I just started. I definitely changed up my lifestyle, and the older I got, the more I realized that I was willing to sacrifice some of my favorite foods. I was willing to sacrifice some of those favorite places that, with those supply chains that make the food taste really good, but may not be the healthiest for us. I was willing to start sacrificing some of it, man, because I realized that it was a lot of what I was eating was correlated to my incident, correlated to, me just
that's big. Same thing happened to me.
Yeah,
For
my
sure.
heart stopping for 10 minutes. That had never happened. You feel me? That had never happened before. I played ball. Like I said, I played ball up into high school. I played at the varsity level. I played rugby in high school, man, and I never had any issues. And like I said, I was raised a certain type of way. 18, I went off. I just started doing it, man. I was eating whatever, eating on the go, no home cooked meals, I was in the service and not really, and I would just basically, just, really not paying no attention, man, and just overdoing it. Overdoing it definitely is what we
Yeah.
sometimes get guilty of. So, man, let's dive this on because I could go on and on about it.
Yeah.
But
No, you touched on something major, man, because how you was talking about like the food that you was eating, it kind of resulted in a lot of things. The same thing really happened to me. Like even, for my quick story, like I used to get at least like some type of stomach bug or something. You know how you get food poisoning. I know most, I ain't gonna say most people, but if you have food poisoning, you understand. So I would at least get that probably at least once a year, something like that. And I used to eat anything, like as far as just whatever I'm eating. I'll eat McDonald's, Chick-fil-A. I mean, I tried to keep it pretty much as healthy as I could, but when I have metabolism, man, I just ate whatever. You know what I'm saying? So in the result, for me, I kind of got bored with what I was eating because I felt like I was eating a whole lot of chicken. I was eating a whole lot of bread. I was eating just pretty much the basics, but it was the same thing over and over. I'm just like, something's got to change. So when I first went vegan, that's when I really started to see change because that was the first year I didn't get any stomach bug, like nothing. I didn't get a stomach bug. I didn't get sick. Like the first 2 years that I went, that's what secured and that's what told me whatever you eat literally will help me out. Let's just say that. And that's the only difference that was done within them 2 years. And I didn't feel anything, nothing bad at least. And plus, it was different for me because it kind of like opened my eyes to a lot of things. Like, man, like really, what you eat can result in a lot of different things. I started to breathe better. Like my oxygen felt more clear as I'm breathing in. Um, I don't know, man. I just felt cleaner. I felt lighter. So, and like I
yeah, yeah,
said, it's a result. It's just got to be, and that's from my
yeah.
experience.
I was
You get that on camera.
And I was just going to add in to your point. I just recently just been trying to build with the plant based, but I know switching over my nutrition helped me out. But definitely that plant based, I noticed those energy levels increasing. Like you said, I noticed that difference in maybe not necessarily the stomach bugs, but just naturally, man, being having that energy, to go about my day.
For sure.
And I know a lot of that is food is fuel. Food is fuel.
Yo, that's hey. Listen, you said a whole word. Look, you might want to say it again for the people in the back. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, food is fuel. Food is
Yeah,
fuel. I heard that term before, man, and it's real. It's so real. Food is fuel.
real talk. Like I was always told it's kind of like how you put gas in your car. Well, no, I'm sorry. Let me say oil. So if you put oil in your car, they tell you there's different levels of oil. You got the basic. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the I think it's like the intermediate to between high miles and regular. Then you got the high miles, right? And really all it is the type of oil that you put in your car. So the more 100% was it synthetic, not the blend, but the synthetic. I think the synthetic helps it for longevity, right? For your high miles on your car. Think about it like that. If you're gonna put the fuel in your body, the oil in your body, make sure it's the one that's gonna be high mileage. you know.
That's
So that's
it.
the way I
That's
like to
it.
look at people. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah. So real quick, is a few topics really that I wanted to discuss. And I think we can kind of break them down pretty easy. Especially when it comes to nutrition. Like I think we both have pretty much decent experience when it comes to that. And I always am an advocate for just eating clean. Most people just know I'm plant based. Most people know and I say I'm mostly plant based. When I say I'm mostly, that doesn't mean like I'm like, yo, forget meat, forget dairy, forget like I like all of it. It's no problem. What I do is I just choose when to eat it, when not to eat it. And that's all for personal preference, honestly. And when I say eating clean, I'm talking about, you know, like baking stuff. I even use an air fryer. I try not to use too many oils. I try to get a good balance of nutrients, a good balance of fruit, a good balance of vegetables, a good balance of grains. And so that's mostly what it consists of. Like I really don't indulge too much, when it comes to like ice cream and all. Like I'm not a sweet person like that. So I guess it's a little easier for me. I can't really speak for people who love that stuff because I mean I wouldn't know what it feels like, but I'm sure it's something hard to kick. But the first topic I was going to actually talk about was like cooking your own food, like, and I'll kind of break that down. Like, these are some important, well, let me say this. Let me just break down the top 6 things that I think. The first step is cooking your own food. The second one is reading nutrition labels on the back of the food that you buy. The third one is eating whole foods. The fourth one is avoid as much processed foods as you can. Number 5 is limit your added fats, limit your added sugars, limit your added salt. And number 6, the last one is going to be like, don't drink your calories. So I'm not going to say that this is a strict list. I'm going to break down the list and just kind of help it make sense. And to be honest with you, that list, man, you can just Google nutrition tips and it'll give you just a top list. This is just some of the top 6 things that you can just come up with, right? But I want us to kind of break it down because a lot of people may look at this and think this is something strict that you need to do. And I can't 100% agree. I can agree with most of it with added context. You know what I'm saying? So I think if we can add our own context to it, it may open a lot of eyes and, may make sense. So
I think what I was just going to add, I think what you did too is you just kind of generally summarize some points that us as trainers, we feel like if you highlight, if you definitely start here, I think this will help you along your journey. I definitely agree. I look at, I looked at the points, and when you just said the points, so I definitely agree. I'm gonna let you go ahead. Yeah, I just wanted to add that in.
I agree with you 100%. This is definitely the basis. Like, if you don't know anything, start with this list and move forward. But I highly recommend to really listen to our points. I'm not gonna say we're 100% right, but this is 100% our opinion. And I think that, I can give some pretty decent throughout experience and what I've been through. And I know, Show, you can too, to kind of help that out. So I know cooking your own food is probably one of the best number one on this list. And that's why I put it number one, because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you know what goes into the food because you're cooking it. Not only that, like, you save money cooking your own food. A lot of when you go out, a lot of these things have preservatives on them. You don't know exactly how they're doing it. You don't know how they're treating it. You don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the COVID. Well, I ain't gonna say that word, but with everything that's going on, you want to be careful about some of the things you do, especially when it comes to someone else cooking your food. So, I mean, that's just one other topic, but cooking your own food, I think, is really important because you can keep it clean. You can do your own recipes. You can add your own special food list, which I actually have. I recommend all my clients a special food list. It's a mostly plant-based list, but I also kind of give them additives of what they can do. So if you want to add like a piece of chicken here or just whatever, make sure it's clean. Clean your chicken, everything, and then just kind of add it to the list. But anyway, using the food list helps you stay consistent with your regimen, because a lot of times what people do is they'll cook for a couple of days, but then they get tired and then they go out, and then you may eat something processed. You just pretty much you open your doors up for it's pretty much like a failure if that's the case. If you have a goal that you're gonna cook every day, have that food list ready and make sure you cook it. And pretty much you can meal prep too, so you can have the best of both worlds. That's pretty much my take on it, and I'll let you kind of summarize up a little bit.
Yeah, you definitely said it. I like to incorporate just some definitely some good home cooked meals, so we know exactly what we're putting in our food. We know exactly what's going in there. I'm one of the ones that like to eliminate medicine through foods. So if I'm feeling a certain type of way, if I need a little bit more iron, I try to go for some greens, some spinach. And the only way to really get what you want, and we're speaking just being health conscious. Definitely want to prepare a little bit more than allowing others.
For sure. And that's a good idea. I didn't even think about that, so I'm glad you put that on. So yeah, no, it's super important, man. Cook your own food, and then customize it how you want. That's another benefit, because you may go out to a restaurant, they may not have something that you eat. You can just go out and buy it yourself, make it yourself. So super important. And that actually leads to my next topic when it comes to the importance of reading nutritional labels. I'll just kind of give like a small intake on reading, and I kind of took some notes a little bit just so make sure I'm kind of stable on what I'm doing. Um, I think it's important, and this actually came from an article from CeciliaHealth.com, pretty much why they think it's important. And so one of the biggest things is reading to understand the context and in order to understand exactly what you're eating. The food labels, they pretty much provide info on what you're putting into your body. You also want to make sure you're reading the ingredients and then how much you're eating by reading the nutritional facts. That way you can get an understanding of exactly what you're putting in your body, how much of the ounces or whatever that you're putting into your body. And I'll even speak on people like for diabetes, and that's one thing that the article kind of talks about a little bit. It's ideal to maintain a healthy particular weight, and in order to do this, a lot of times you have to understand what nutrients people are putting into their bodies and putting into their meals. And that's another reason why it's important to read the nutritional labels for those particular instances. Me personally, I read a label that kind of scared me a little bit, because I read like and I don't want to put the brand, but it was a soda specifically. I turned around and looked at the label, and each one of those ingredients, they kind of linked to something that was, pretty unhealthy. Let's just say that, and I was like, man, and this is like approved for people to drink, so I kind of was shocked at that. But had not read that label, I wouldn't even have known exactly what it was. So another thing is a lot of times they'll put the scientific word of exactly what ingredient may be in a specific food. Google these things and break these words down because they'll have something long for a name that really just might be beet juice. You know what I'm saying? So it may look, just because it has a long scientific name doesn't necessarily mean it's a chemical unhealthy. It honestly just may be the scientific word for that particular food or that particular fruit or vegetable or grain or whatever. So I always recommend, looking up a lot of these words so you can see what it is that you're putting into your body, and you'll know exactly what you're putting into your meals and what type of vitamins that come with. So my recommendation is when you look up these words, look up the benefits and look up the cons. So there may be cons, there may be pros, it could be both, and it could be none, but just staying informed, I think, is the key to reading those labels and to help you reach your goals a lot quicker.
And I'll just chime in short and sweet. Also, another layer is that's where your calories are, right there on them labels. I'm a one that like to pay attention to those calories. I spoke about caloric deficit. One of the videos we did. That's a major factor in that weight loss. You kind of want to be consuming a little bit lower amounts if you're going to and burning a little bit more if you're trying to lose weight. And vice versa, if you're trying to gain weight, you definitely want to keep an eye on what's going in. The only way we know is if we take a look at those labels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you ever came across something and you was just shocked when you read the label?
Man, yeah, it blew my mind. That's why I had to mention that. It changed my whole. Yeah, that was first. First, I was drawn to the calories. Then I was drawn to what the heck is actually in this stuff. Like you
Right.
said, what's alphabet? Like what's all this? I just want a basic salad, or I just want a basic, water, not water mixed with this and mixed with something that you done made in the lab and this. I'm good, man. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think it's dope, man. Like, I think reading the labels kind of helped me out. Like when I went mostly plant based. So if y'all know anything about how going like, I guess like the vegan route or whatever, you have to understand there's no meat, there's no dairy, right? And so, just for example, dairy includes eggs, it includes cheese, and it includes milk. So if you read the back of these labels, right, and if I'm mostly plant based, if I look and it'll tell you if it contains eggs, if it contains milk or cheese. You got to read the back of the labels for you to see what it is. Because if you're mostly plant based, you can't eat that particular food. You got to find something else. So I think it's important so that way you can understand different substitutions. When it comes to cooking your food, you want to make sure you know. So reading the back of the labels can help you get to that next process and to stay healthy or whatever the goal that you want to get to. All right, cool. I think we on track. So the next one is the importance of like eating whole foods. So, and I took this from hcf.com. It's an article about the health agenda. So there's something called the whole food advantage. Back in 2014, they did an analysis at Yale University. They found that there's claims for health benefits for like certain diets, like was like the paleo, and the vegan. They kind of exaggerated that, because just because you plant-based or vegan doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it all the way honest, because you can drink a beer and be vegan. You can eat French fries and be a vegan, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily healthy. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure that people understand, a diet of minimal processed foods is pretty much the closer that you can get to nature, plants, and all of that is associated to, for general health promotion and not in disease prevention. You'll see a lot less prevention of disease whenever you eat more whole foods. And I'm talking about your grains. I'm talking about your vegetables. Like I'm talking about your fruits. You know what I'm saying? And anything processed is not really going to end that, because a lot of the processed foods can be malnutritious for you. So the best way that you can generally stay healthy is to do more whole foods. And again, that's all coming from minimal process, close to nature, close to everything that's grown or something that was already here, what I'm saying, grown. So I like to put, if God made it, that's what it is. This is going to be healthy. So I want your take on that, and just kind of give your input on, the importance of eating whole foods.
Man, you really said it all. You really said it all. I feel like from a spiritual standpoint, I definitely confirm, just trying to stay with some whole foods. And it's tricky now. And that's actually when I first mentioned the story, what I was going to talk about. Just us as a country, just being economically fueled, you kind of want to make sure that it's not, that your food that we're eating is not something that's manufactured in a lab or played with too much. A lot of this stuff, we're starting to hear, okay, well, this stuff is added into this, and this can be this is used with the Roundup weed killers and all the, not to name drop, but just that's one that comes to mind. I think, and then we find out, just all sorts of things. So and I feel like that some of that it definitely doesn't help us when it comes to some of these illnesses, So just trying to stick with some whole foods, I think definitely gives you a good chance. It gives you a good healthy chance. It's definitely something that's not gonna weigh your body down, have you feeling all crazy. That's something I can vouch for. Something that, like you said, God put here, God made for us to consume. We know
Yeah.
for a fact. It's not something we guessing. That somebody just said, okay, well, shoot, this is gonna make us a couple dollars. Let's put this inside the foods, because now we can turn one into 100. You feel me? So, for
Yeah.
me, definitely, I really try to go out the way, man, and definitely try to get a good balance of some whole foods.
Yeah, I think you said it, man. Like that's a whole nother route, when it comes to this money, and the way that the agricultural businesses is even doing now. But just to keep it short and sweet, I'll kind of give a couple good tips so you can kind of swap it out for people who may look at a processed food. This is something different that you can do to keep it mostly healthy. So like instead of eating maybe like a sugary cereal breakfast, just substitute that with like some oatmeal. With a little bit of bananas, have some berries with it. I like craisins. I even like dates. And most people don't even know, but date is a more healthy sweetener than sugar. So if you want something to have that sweet feeling, but not as bad for you, there's things called date sugar, and you can even cut dates. What I do is I cut dates up and throw them in the oatmeal while I boil. Put it in the pot. And I eat that, man. And I have some fruit to go with it, protein shake. I'm good to go. And honestly, you don't even need the protein shake. I just did it because, that's what I like. Another thing too is like instead of doing, like these protein bars and and just these little snacks, like that. Get a handful of mixed nuts. Get your cashews in. Get your pecans. I'm an advocate for walnuts. Walnuts is really good. Black walnuts, Brazil nuts. These are really good additive snacks that you can do and still keep it whole food. Another one is like instead of doing, of course, the white bread, I know you can do like whole grain bread, like spelt. Spelt is actually a really good grain that you can use, and it's healthy. It gives you energy. You know, sometimes you eat bread and just you be all tired. You know, you be sleepy because it's got those sugars in it. Same thing if you like for fruit juices, you know, substitute the juices with just eat the fruit. You know, you get a lot more benefit if you just eat the whole fruit. You know, and it fills you up too. You know, versus just only juicing it. You know, I'm not saying juicing is bad, but what I'm saying is, you know, you want if you want to keep a whole food, just try to keep it the whole thing versus just taking the juice out of it. Another one is like, you know, for ham, you know, and like deli meats and stuff, you know, just try to roast it instead of getting, you know, this processed stuff, you know, already packaged up. Just buy it whole and cook it yourself. You know, and that's one of the best ways you can eat. Just try to keep it as whole as you can for my meat eaters out there. You know, for people who don't want to give that up. You know, I'm not gonna sit up here and advocate and push that agenda. I'm not gonna push that agenda.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think we covered that. What and that actually led to the next topic of try to avoid processed foods. I mean, I think that's pretty much self-explanatory right there. Um, and I got this actually article. It's called "Eat This, Not That." Um, the website is actually eatthis.com. You know, and they kind of give a few benefits of ditching the processed food. And actually, one of them is pretty big. One of them is weight loss. One thing that they actually said was there's a lot of extra calories in processed foods that are just wasteful. And so think about it like that. If there's wasteful calories in processed foods, you're really just eating extra calories for no reason, honestly. So you got to think about how the world is right now. In America, it's a lot more obesity here, but there's also a lot more processed foods here as well than a lot of the other countries in the world. So if you think about it from a macro standpoint, if there's more processed foods available to the people here, it's cheaper, it's easier to access, it's easier to gain. They make it taste great. It's still processed, so that you're eating. So one burger probably that's processed, whatever, may be different from a different type of burger because of the extra calories that you're consuming. So another benefit of trying to stick to the whole foods versus the processed foods. You dig what I'm saying? So just think about it from that standpoint. That's one of the biggest things. Another thing that they actually talked about was if you stay away from more processed foods, you tend to have more clear skin. One of the key things they said was the complexion. It lies in not some of the creamers that you do, but some of the food choices that you eat. Um, a lot of the processed foods helps it dries out a lot of the skin. So just think about it from those standpoints. And I could go on and on, but I'm just pretty keeping it basic. But yeah, so what's your take on avoiding processed foods?
Man, you hit the nail on the head. You hit everything. You hit every point. Um, yeah. That's it. That's it. That's a great source that you had. That eat this, not that. That's one I use a good reference. But yeah, you hit it, man. Everything I was I confirm everything. Like you want
Gotcha,
to avoid,
gotcha.
and I was gonna add in, at times it could be so convenient, but you want to definitely do your best, just trying to, avoid some of the stuff, especially some of that quick process stuff, you know.
Yep.
But we're all work in progress, and just part of making better decisions when it comes to nutrition. We try to avoid those processed foods.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. And that one thing about like for me, I remember my mom was telling me about how like she ate. I think she ate like McDonald's. Again, I'm not gonna say McDonald's is bad. I'm not gonna say all that, but I remember she was telling me one time that she had McDonald's for like a week straight, and she ended up getting sick, from
Yeah.
eating. I think this is back when she was in school, or whatever, and of course we all know McDonald's is convenient. It's everywhere. You can't miss it. It's when you're hungry. I mean, it is what it is, right? We got to eat. So, it makes you dehydrated, a lot of times when it comes to processed foods because, again, they're processed. So you're not getting the full spectrum nutrients when it comes to the diet. So that's one thing I want to make sure that everybody understands when it comes to these processed foods. Just try to limit them. I'm not gonna say you eat one today, you're gonna die. I'm not gonna go that far, right? It's a over time process when it comes to health. If you're doing something a certain way for a period of time, it'll cause effects eventually. So that's really why I put that kind of in there, just to try to avoid it, because I think it's more benefit in keeping it on a smaller scale versus on a bigger scale, because then you run into more problems down the line in the future. But yep. But actually, and that'll lead to my topic with limit your added fat, salts, and sugars. And this is one big component for me, and I'll keep this brief. A lot of the added salt, fat, and vinegars, or not vinegar, but sugars, it's a lot of that in processed foods. That's a lot of the extra calories right there. So you can really knock out two birds with one stone just by avoiding the processed foods. I could go on the detail, but I want your take on that show, and let me know if you agree with this, or give some context on it.
Definitely, you want to limit that stuff. I know I've had clients that were diabetics. I've had clients with high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the contributing factors are, some of the added salt, some of the added sugars, some of the things that are added in the foods. So I definitely recommend, limiting them.
Mm-hmm. I'll also kind of give another source. You can do healthy eating, healthyeating.fsgate, sfgate.com, just to give some numbers for a lot of the sodium. Excess amount of sodium can lead the body to having nerve impulses. It can also it contracts the muscles as well. So a lot of the guys, or it can help relax the muscle, but again, you got to give context behind what it is, because I know in football, when you had cramps, they told you to eat salt, so to help loosen and relax the muscle. You know what I'm saying? So, but just understand, an excessive amount of sodium that can lead to the unwanted, unhealthy complications. There's a recommended dosage of how much the body would need before you get into cardiovascular and kidney disease and things like that, because the excess amount of the sodium, fats, and sugars will affect your organs. And that's one thing you got to be careful. You can't see the inside of your body, so the only way that you can control it is to see what is on the outside, so you know what you're putting into your body. And again, limiting your fats, limiting your salt, limiting your sugars, to me, is one of the best ways to protect your organs. Because without these organs, you don't live too much longer. You know what I'm saying? And that, yeah. Do you have anything you want to add on top of that?
No, we hit it on that. Yep. Definitely limited. Okay.
All right, I got you. I think the last thing.
Just
go ahead.
No, you good. I was just going. But with us, a lot of times, like you said, man, it's just in excess. In excess. Everything in moderation. Obviously. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's about balance. And that's really what it is. And I want people to understand. I'm not sitting up here an advocate to say all salt's bad. I'm not going to sit there and advocate to say all sugars and all fat is bad, because there are healthy fats out there. There's even some things that you can eat that have salty taste that isn't bad for you, like sea type of vegetables, like how you eat sushi and seaweed. That's a salty type of vegetable. It's not bad for you though, but it's got that salty taste. So, and then even sea salt is a more healthier salt that you can even do, because I don't want people to think, well, if I can't eat salt, what am I supposed to eat? If I can't do sugar, what am I supposed to eat? And that's why I believe in the importance of knowledge on substitutions. Like, I use sea salt and pink Himalayan salt. It's got better minerals in it versus that black bleach salt. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with sugar. For people who don't understand the sugar, they take the sugar cane and extract it, and then they bleach it. And so that's why the sugar crystals is white. You know what I'm saying? So, instead of, which again, that's, diabetes and all that, make sure that y'all understand eating certain foods and breads can turn into sugar in your body. So again, the importance of understanding how much sugar to put in your body is important. But that doesn't mean you just have to completely stay away from sweets. So again, I use dates as a sweetener. I also use raw agave. I don't know if you've used it before, but it's good and it's not as bad for you. But still, even then, take it in moderation. So if you're gonna eat something like that, just make sure that you are limiting yourself to as small as you can. Um, but you can still have that sweet, but just be careful. So last thing I want to kind of discuss is to not drink your calories. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of agree, but also I kind of disagree. And I think when I say drinking stuff, I just stay away from juices, just because you don't know what they put. They put a lot of excess stuff in these juices, so they thinking that they it's healthy. I just say, man, try to stick to your waters, man. Try to stick to as your waters as clean as possible because water helps balance the body. Think about it. We're really humans. We're 70% water anyway. So it's super important for us to continue to drink that water and honestly to help flush our system, to help flush our organs out, and to help literally just give a clean crystal reset of the body because our bodies they give off they separate and they recreate new cells every 7 years. So you really have new skin cells, new hair cells, new organ cells, and things like that. Your body naturally does a flush and a reset. And again, what helps push that in more healthier cells is going to be water, and that's a little bit of my intake. I'm sure I could probably go into details more, but I don't want to extend it too long. But I want your intake on what you think about not drinking your calories.
Yeah. Yeah. Just that's another one. I think you kind of hit most of the points. I just like to always be mindful with those liquid calories. I'm a big water drinker, like you said. I realize the importance. So many benefits of the water. I like to keep it just with the water. Like I said again, you hit most of the points. A lot
Mhm.
of times there's so much added inside that water. Added inside some of those juices and drinks that we drink. It makes them so calorie dense. So calorie heavy.
Yep.
A lot of times that's another point I mentioned to my clients. Just be mindful of those. You'll drink a can of juice, well, a cup of juice, 8 ounce, 16-ounce juice. It may have hundreds of calories in it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
something to be mindful of.
For sure. And I think, and I don't want people to get like kind of what's the word? I'm not controversial when it comes to stuff. I'm not saying don't drink juice, but what I'm saying is um, understand moderation and just know what you're putting into your body. So, for example, there's other things that I think is pretty decently healthy that you can drink. Like there's these things called kombucha. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of them they use a lot of the fruits to make these type of drinks. So it's a lot less added sugars, a lot less added processed things in a lot of these juices, where a lot of these calories come from in the first place. So I'm not going to sit there and be an advocate and just say all juice is bad. I'm not saying that at all. I want people to understand the context behind it. Just don't rely on only trying to drink these calories in because they think that if you drink it, it's better for you because you're not eating the food. And that's not what I'm saying. Just because you juicing something doesn't necessarily mean it's always healthy. You get more of the benefit, honestly, from eating the whole fruit anyway, the whole vegetable anyway. You know what I'm saying? So just be cautious and just be understanding of what you're putting into your body, how much you're putting into your body. Like, just don't rely solely on it forever. And that's what I'm saying. And I could be wrong, and there could be other research out there that may support against it, but this is a general basis here. We're only speaking on the beginner stages for people who may not necessarily understand the details, and we just want to break it down to say, hey, listen, just make sure you drink your water. Be cautious that other things like juices and things have extra calories in it that you just want to be mindful of.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
We just sharing the info. Some of the info that we share with our risers. This is what helps from our perspective. Again, like you keep confirming and just reiterating. That this is just what we're saying. What works for us. I
Mhm.
wake up. I'm mindful of all those things of liquid calories of what I'm processed foods of the salts and the sugars, I try to pay close attention to what's going on behind the labels. You know, I try to definitely incorporate some home cooked meals so I know exactly what's going in. And you know, I feel great, man. Like you said, you mentioned about the skin. I think my face is pretty clear. You know, I know
Yeah,
as a when I was younger, you know, just kind of over consuming some of those sodas and carbonated drinks just excessively. You know, it starts to show in your face.
it
Or at
does.
least it did for me.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
same thing for me,
and I
for
feel like
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
and just to wrap it up on my end, you know, just saying, you know, I feel like you hit all those points, man, and these are all things like you've been confirming. You know, these are just how we feel. This is our perspective. This is stuff that we've seen that works. That
absolutely.
we've definitely dug into and did some digging and got some knowledge on the topics, you know, and we definitely apply everything we're talking about, both being plant based, trying to eventually, you know, be 100%. But you know, we're working on some things and just making sure finding what works best for us and our bodies. You know, and these are some of the things, some of the points that we wanted to share with you all.
And I actually want to we actually have a couple comments, man. I'm gonna address a few of these, man. Ernest, you actually giving some great additives, man. Like he uses for like certain sweeteners, he actually uses Splenda. I forgot all about Splenda, man. Like that's another not as bad type of sugar, or sweetener that you can use whenever you want to drink something like coffee or just tea or whatever the case may be. I want to make sure everybody understands, man. That's a really good additive. And he says that he goes to doctor's appointments and they recommended him a lot of the non-starchy vegetables and try to eat like the whole wheat pastas, the brown rice and things like that. I'm gonna go ahead and agree, but I'm gonna add some context to that too, Ernest. You really big on these non-starchy vegetables because people don't understand starch is another thing. It's a binder, so that can turn into sugar too. And I don't know if y'all familiar with like Dr. Sabi, but he talks about some of the things of what it does to the brain. It pretty much can make the brain sluggish. I'm not quoting. I'm just kind of paraphrasing. Some of the things I've been looking up, but I'm also thinking about experience because, um, like think about a potato, man. Like or rice, white rice, for example, a lot of that's a starchy vegetable. And that turns into sugars, and that can also lead to complications. You know what I'm saying? So I actually want to go ahead and say I agree to that too. Try to keep more leafy greens are going to be your less starchy vegetables. The darker green, the vegetable, the better off it is for you as far as like not as starchy. And I advocate this when it comes to, and I'm gonna keep it brief, but like I also kind of indulge in an alkaline based plant based diet. So a lot of these vegetables don't have starch. A lot of these vegetables don't have that that extra in it. Like for example, instead of using like white rice, he said brown rice, which is good. I use black rice. And most people don't even know what black rice is. I eat black rice. I get it from
Yeah,
like Harris. You can get it from Whole Foods. I remember like it's the less starch it is. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. This is what blew my mind. Think about white rice. It don't take that long to make. You can make white rice in like 5-10 minutes, if that. Black rice takes at least 30 to 40 minutes because it doesn't soak up water easy. That white rice and starchy vegetables soak water easy, and they it tends to bind things. So think about how sticky white rice is. That's the starch. So when you're digesting it in your throughout your body, these things can get stuck in your walls, your arteries, because when you break down food, it goes throughout your entire bloodstream through your body, in which you're taking the nutrients with it. So if it turns into sugar, you got to think about all the cholesterol that's building up in your arteries. Over time, that can lead to complications like high blood pressure, cholesterol issues. You might have a blockage in the artery because of a lot of these sugars and fats that get stuck in the arteries over time. If you're not careful, if you're not eating clean to help clean the bloodstream out, you could be saving yourself a trip to the doctor. You eating a whole bunch of just processed burgers and cheese and all that stuff. Again, a lot of these things that are real like sticky like that, they get into your body and it does the same thing inside of you. Think about this too. You ever heard to not pour oil down in the garbage disposal because it'll clog it up? I don't know if you ever heard that. I've heard that before. Think about that.
yeah.
If it does something like that to a machine, just imagine what it's doing to your body. And that kind of really made me think, like, you know what? It kind of makes sense for me kind of to stay back from it a little bit, you know. So that's one thing that I kind of took with me, you know, and I take that to the grave, man. Like, I'm mostly healthy, you know, I'm pretty decently, and I stay away from it. But I have a more alkaline based diet anyway. Like, I eat a lot of chickpeas, I eat a lot of black rice for my protein and grains. On top of that, I eat a lot of vegetables. So I keep it mostly whole food, honestly. So just in case if I do eat a processed food here and there, it won't affect me as bad because I'm mostly clean on the inside, and I drink a lot of water. I stay mostly clean as my base. So it's not as bad if I have a piece of cake every now and then. I'm not saying I'm gonna do that, but my base is pretty much is clean. And I think I just want to make sure that's understood because a lot of people they just think, oh, I need to have a cheat day. If you're mostly eating a lot of bad stuff, I think it's less successful if you have more cheat days. I think you actually need to limit your cheat days to almost none if you're gonna continue to work. I just want you to get the fastest benefit, and the fastest benefit for me is going cold turkey. You got to go a clean diet. You got to continue to be consistent with the exercise um, for the best possible results. Because the more cheat days you have, you're just prolonging your results. But that's my opinion. You know, I'm sure there's other people that say, "Oh no, I ate cake for 2 days straight, and you know, I lost 10 pounds." You know, that's an exception to the rule. You know, but you know, I want your take on that. You know, what you think? It might sound crazy, or you know, am I speaking not facts here?
No. You good. You good. And did you address all the questions? Because I definitely could wrap us up now. Because I got one.
Oh yeah,
Did you
no.
address all the questions?
I pretty much I think he was just kind of adding in a lot of what we were talking about. You know, um, most of the fast food contains too much added preservatives. I agree, Ernest. Um, you know, he says, not only do I happen to be suffer high blood pressure, but it tends to be type 2 diabetic because I tend to manage sugar intake as much as I can. Yeah, see, manage your sugar intake, super, super important. Yep, pink Himalayan salt. So yeah, I agree. I use that too. It's got 25% less sodium. So there you go. He's got some numbers out there for everybody. Let me see. I think I already read that. Eat whole foods, facts. Try my very best to cut on fast food as much as I can. Yeah, no, for sure. Do as much as you can to try to cut fast food, man, because again, that's a lot of processed foods there. But keep in mind, there are foods, or there's places you can go that necessarily is not all the way, you know, processed. Like I consider Chipotle not really a fast food, but you can still get your food quick and it can be still healthy. A lot of them they use whole foods there. I just like Chipotle. I'm gonna just go ahead and throw that in there. But yeah,
Yeah.
um, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Let's see, I did just that. I was recommend it. Okay, Mediterranean diet. You know what? That's good. Mediterranean diet, you know, is really for people who don't know. That's more Greek, so that's more of your like your gyros. Am I saying that right? Gyros.
Yep.
That's your what's it called? Falafels, your wraps, you know, your pitas, you know, things like that. You know, they have a lot of Mediterranean bowls that you can do. Like I typically like a good Mediterranean dish that I eat. I eat a falafel sandwich with a little side of, you know, maybe like some vegetables, like some Brussels sprouts, some carrots, like just roasted cauliflower. Like, yo, all of that is just it's straight healthy. You know, you get your healthy fats, you get your grains, you get your protein, and you get your non-starchy vegetables. So you know you get a lot of that all in one. But yeah, no, we could definitely wrap it up. I know you got to go. I appreciate your show. I think this was a really good episode. I can't wait to get to the
Yeah.
next one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I wanted to
yeah,
give just a closing. Because yeah, I was waiting for it. I was making sure we addressed all the questions, and then I was gonna bring us in like
absolutely.
this. So if you start from week one, we spoke about setting those goals. All right. And then you go to your meditations. All right. Then that'll help you define what your goals are as far as your nutrition goes. And I think ultimately what I do is I'm true to me. I'm true to me when it comes to eating. All right, like we've mentioned before, yeah, I consider myself primarily plant based, but yes, I still
Mhm.
dip and dabble with a little seafood, primarily fish and a little shrimp. But that's just because I'm working my way toward a primarily plant based lifestyle. But when I did it, I didn't do it for trendy reasons. I did it like I spoke about at the beginning of our live. I spoke about my story. I spoke about what I went through. I spoke about some of the changes I had in nutrition. And that was just the best choice for me. And like I said, I'm not here trying to prove nothing to nobody. We're sharing this. Well, this is stuff that we know that works for us. Us first. We've tried it on us. We've tried it with some of the people that we work with professionally. And it works. So definitely.
Absolutely.
We spoke about goal setting in episode 1. Well, we spoke about goal setting in episode 1, meditation episode 2, and now we hit you with nutrition. All right, so we give you the keys to success in 2022. Rise and Rise Fitness Academy.
There you go.
Netflix
You preaching over there. I'm about to get you a Bible, man. We're about to call you Pastor Show, man. We're going to give you a name. We better give you a Bible, because we're going to give you a chain and everything. That's real. Hey, well, I appreciate you, man. You're my brother, man. It's all love. You know what I'm saying? We're going to continue to shine. We're going to continue to grind. We're going to get these people to good work. I appreciate everybody for watching. Stay tuned. We got a lot more coming. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is all from the app. Salute to you, Ernest, man, on commenting, man. I want you to keep coming. We're going to continue to do this, you know what I'm saying, every week. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we do have the app. Again, a lot of the content is going to come to the app. You can download it right now in the Play Store. If you have an Android device, Rise and Rise Fitness Academy. You got the logo. What I'll do is I'll post it into the comment so you'll know exactly what to type in the Play Store. It is going to come to the App Store really soon, so just stay tuned for my Apple users. You dig? And we haven't forgot about y'all. So again, this month is completely free. So y'all ask questions, and we gonna keep it rocking. So show again, I appreciate you looking out. Shout out to Devella. I see you, Cuzzo. So yeah, I think we can go ahead and close it out. So let's get to it, man.
Peace.
Blessings and love.